Have you ever felt like there's this like deeper meaning to life?
Yeah.
Something more than just, the everyday stuff.
Uh-huh.
But you can't really like put your finger on it.
Absolutely.
It's like you're right on the edge of understanding something profound, but it just keeps slipping away.
Yeah, like you're almost there, but not quite.
Exactly.
A lot of people feel that.
Well, today we're going to dive into that feeling.
Okay.
We're looking at two sources that explore this idea of like self-discovery and spiritual growth.
Right.
And get this, they suggest that learning and forgiveness
Oh, wow.
aren't just these like abstract ideas.
Interesting.
They're actually the keys to unlocking your true potential.
I like that.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So the first source jumps right in
Okay.
and says our souls actually need contrast
Trust.
and polarity
Okay.
to truly know themselves.
So like the good and the bad.
It's like we need a mirror to see our own reflection.
That's a great way to put it.
You can't understand light without experiencing darkness, right?
Exactly. It's about experiencing the full spectrum.
And what I found really interesting is this idea
Yeah.
that those negative emotions,
Okay.
like depression and apathy, that feeling that something's missing,
Yeah.
it could actually come from not recognizing this need for contrast.
Like we're meant to experience those things,
Almost like our souls are yearning for growth and understanding,
not just trying to avoid pain.
not just chasing pleasure.
Right?
Have you ever felt that?
Definitely.
Even when things are good on the surface,
Yeah.
there's still this nagging sense that something's off.
Absolutely. Like something's missing.
Maybe that's your soul whispering to you,
Interesting.
reminding you that there's more to life than what we see.
Makes you think.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
This source links learning and forgiveness to masculine and feminine energies.
Oh, wow. I've never thought of it like that.
So learning is how we integrate and expand our masculine polarity. When we learn, we're understanding ourselves and the world around us,
Makes sense.
taking in information,
Right.
analyzing, strategizing, growing intellectually and spiritually,
Yeah, I see that.
while forgiveness,
Okay.
that expands our feminine polarity.
Interesting.
It's about acceptance,
Right.
letting go of those judgments,
Right.
and embracing ourselves and others fully.
Compassion and nurturing.
Really, I like that. Think about a challenge you faced recently.
Mhm.
What did you learn from it?
Yeah, good point.
And equally important,
Okay.
where might forgiveness still play a role? Maybe in letting go of any lingering resentment
Yeah, that's a good one.
towards yourself or others involved.
Powerful.
Because this source points out that holding on to those negative emotions ultimately blocks us from experiencing true peace and joy.
Yeah, it's like carrying a weight around.
It's like carrying around a heavy weight.
Drains your energy.
Totally.
Prevents you from moving forward.
Now, this source also brings up karma, or the law of reciprocity.
I've heard of this.
This idea that what we send out into the universe
Yeah.
comes back to us.
What goes around comes around.
Our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, they all have consequences.
Not just for others, but for ourselves, too.
And judgment plays a big role here.
Yeah.
When we judge others, we're creating negative energy.
Makes sense.
That ultimately impacts us.
It's like putting it out there.
It's a reminder to be mindful of our thoughts and actions and to cultivate compassion.
For ourselves and for others.
It reminds me of that quote from Luke.
Oh, yeah.
Do not judge and you will not be judged.
Right.
Do not condemn and you will not be condemned.
Forgive and you will be forgiven.
Such a powerful message
Yeah.
about the interconnected nature of our existence.
It's all connected.
This source really emphasizes that forgiveness is crucial, not just for others, but also for ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Holding on to resentment, whether it's towards someone else or even towards ourselves,
Yeah.
is only going to block us from experiencing true peace and joy.
Absolutely.
The source puts it so beautifully.
Okay.
Anything less than peace, anything less than love is asking you to forgive something.
Wow, that's a good one.
It's a call to look inward and see where we might be holding ourselves back
By not forgiving.
with unforgiveness.
Powerful.
Now let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about our second source,
All right.
A Course in Miracles.
I've heard of that.
This is a spiritual text that dives deep into the nature of reality
Right.
and the path to inner peace.
Okay.
And what's really fascinating is how many of its core teachings
Yeah.
actually align with modern science.
It's like ancient wisdom meeting modern science.
so cool.
Yeah.
Like, these ancient traditions were tapping into truths that science is just now rediscovering.
Exactly.
For instance, A Course in Miracles talks about the interconnectedness of everything. And that resonates with this idea of non-locality and quantum physics.
Have you heard that?
I have.
Okay, so
It's this idea that particles can be linked
regardless of distance,
regardless of distance,
like they're connected somehow.
suggesting that separation might just be an illusion.
Whoa, that's mind-blowing.
It really challenges our understanding of reality.
Definitely.
It suggests we're all connected on a much deeper level
Yeah, more than we realize.
than we realize.
Wow.
And then there's the observer effect
Okay.
in quantum physics,
Right.
which shows how observation can actually influence reality
So just by looking at something, you change it?
at the quantum level.
Crazy.
And that ties in with how A Course in Miracles emphasizes the power of choosing our perceptions.
So our thoughts shape our reality.
It's like we're active participants in creating our own reality.
Powerful stuff.
And neuroscience is starting to support this too.
Really?
Our brains are constantly changing, forming new connections.
Yeah, neuroplasticity.
And this means we can train our minds to perceive the world differently,
So we're not just stuck with the way we see things.
to choose thoughts and beliefs that lead to greater peace and happiness.
That's good news.
So we're not just stuck with whatever programming we've picked up along the way.
Right.
We have the power to rewrite the script.
I love that.
A Course in Miracles also talks about the ego
Okay.
and the role it plays in creating this sense of separation,
Uh-huh.
this need for judgment,
Yeah.
and the constant desire to control reality.
So the ego is the problem.
And it's interesting how this connects back to our first source.
All right.
Both of them suggest that judgment comes from the ego's need to feel superior.
To fix what it thinks is wrong.
Like it's trying to fix something that's not broken.
Yeah, but reality is already perfect.
So the ego is this like little voice in our heads
Okay.
that's constantly judging and comparing and trying to control everything.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
And it can be so persuasive.
It's tricky.
It thrives on keeping us trapped in this cycle of fear and judgment.
You gotta break free.
But the good news is we don't have to listen to it.
We have a choice.
We can choose to align with a more loving and interconnected way of being.
That sounds better.
And that's where forgiveness and mindfulness come in.
Okay.
They're the keys to quieting that ego chatter
So we can experience that deeper connection.
and experience that deeper connection we've been talking about.
I'm into it.
If you're enjoying this deep dive into the quantum soul as much as I am,
Uh-huh.
hit that subscribe button.
Right.
Give us a like
Yeah.
and share this video with anyone who might resonate with these ideas.
Spread the word.
Okay, now that we've got a better understanding of the ego
Yeah.
and its role in shaping our perceptions, I'm ready to go a little bit deeper.
All right, let's do it.
Let's dive into how it actually influences our everyday experience of reality.
I'm ready when you are. So we were talking about how the ego kind of distorts our perception of reality.
Yeah,
It's always looking for flaws,
yeah,
like in ourselves and in others,
Mm.
and it creates this illusion of separation
right, like things aren't perfect.
and imperfection.
And that reminds me of something you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
this idea from A Course in Miracles,
Uh-huh.
that reality is actually perfect,
Right.
but it's our perception
That's the issue.
that's creating the experience of imperfection.
It's not reality itself, it's how we see it.
It's like the negativity we experience isn't inherently real.
Yeah.
It's a product of our minds,
Our thoughts.
the stories we tell ourselves.
Exactly.
So it's not about changing the external world.
Right.
It's about changing our internal world.
Our thoughts, our beliefs.
Our beliefs, our interpretation.
That's all about perception.
And that's where forgiveness is so important.
Yeah.
It's like the key to dissolving the ego's grip on our perception.
It helps us see things differently.
When we forgive, we're choosing to see things differently.
Letting go of the judgments.
Letting go of judgments, grievances.
All the stuff that clouds our vision.
It's like taking off a distorted pair of glasses
Yeah.
and finally seeing the world as it truly is.
That's a great way to put it.
Remember what that first source said about every negative emotion is an opportunity for forgiveness.
Oh, yeah.
It's a chance to practice letting go.
To choose a more loving perspective.
But doesn't forgiving someone mean condoning their actions?
That's a common misunderstanding.
Right.
Forgiveness isn't about saying what happened was okay.
Right.
It's about releasing the negative energy.
That we're holding on to.
Exactly. It's about freeing ourselves from the past.
So it's more about our own well-being
Yeah.
than about the other person.
It's not about them.
Holding on to anger and resentment only hurts us.
In the end, it keeps us trapped.
It keeps us trapped in that cycle of suffering.
Yeah.
And that ties back into karma.
The law of reciprocity.
What we put out into the world comes back to us.
So if we want to experience more love and joy,
Abundance.
we need to cultivate those things within ourselves.
And extend them to others.
It's about aligning ourselves with that natural flow.
Recognizing we're all interconnected.
Yeah.
And that our actions have ripple effects.
It's a beautiful thing.
A Course in Miracles emphasizes this idea
Okay.
that our minds have the power to create our reality,
Our thoughts.
our thoughts and beliefs.
They shape our experiences.
Like we're projecting our inner world onto the outer world.
Exactly.
So if our inner world is full of fear, judgment, scarcity,
Yeah.
that's what we'll continue to see in our lives.
It's a reflection
But if we can shift our perception
to a more loving
to
perspective,
love, abundance, interconnectedness,
our reality will reflect that shift.
it's not about denying the challenges.
Right.
It's about approaching them with a different mindset.
Yeah, instead of asking, why is this happening to me?
We can ask, what can I learn from this?
Or how can I grow from this experience?
It's about reclaiming our power as conscious creators.
Yeah.
Recognizing that we're not victims of circumstance,
We have a choice.
but active participants in shaping our reality.
That's powerful.
That's incredibly empowering.
It means we can change our experience.
Create a more meaningful life.
But how do we actually do that?
How do we shift our perception in such a profound way?
It starts with awareness.
Okay.
Becoming aware of our thoughts, our beliefs, the stories we tell ourselves.
Examining those stories.
Identifying the things that are holding us back.
A judgment.
And then choosing to see things differently.
Choosing to practice forgiveness.
Cultivating compassion.
Embracing the interconnectedness of all things.
It takes courage and commitment.
A willingness to step outside our comfort zone.
But it's a journey that leads to a deeper understanding.
Of ourselves, the universe, and the infinite possibilities.
It's worth it.
And the more we explore these concepts, the more we empower ourselves.
To create a more loving reality.
Not just for ourselves, but for the world around us.
Absolutely.
This has been so insightful.
I agree.
And if you're finding this deep dive as illuminating as I am,
Yeah.
hit that subscribe button,
Give us a like.
give us a like, and share this video with anyone who might benefit.
Spread the message.
Okay, now that we've talked about the ego and his role in shaping our perceptions,
Right.
let's shift our focus to the practical side of things.
Okay, sound good.
How can we apply these teachings to our daily lives
And start experiencing the benefits.
of forgiveness and a shifted perception?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
It's one thing to understand these concepts intellectually,
Right.
but it's another to actually embody them.
It's about bridging that gap
So let's explore some tangible ways we can integrate these ideas.
to our daily experience.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm eager to learn how to make these concepts more practical.
Do it.
Okay, so we've been talking about these big concepts, like reality being perfect, the power of forgiveness, and how our perception shapes our experience.
It's a lot to take in.
But how do we actually put this into practice?
Right.
It feels kind of overwhelming
Yeah.
to like transform my whole way of seeing the world.
Well, it's about taking small steps.
Okay.
You don't have to do it all at once.
That makes me feel better.
Just little changes you can make
So what are some practical steps I can take?
to cultivate a more forgiving and mindful approach.
Like, where do I even begin?
One powerful practice is gratitude.
Gratitude.
Taking time each day to appreciate the good things in your life.
Even the small things.
Exactly.
It's so easy to focus on what's wrong or what's missing.
Yeah, our minds tend to go there.
But if we shift our attention to what we're grateful for,
Yeah.
does that really change our perception?
Absolutely. When you focus on gratitude,
Okay.
you're retraining your brain to see the good.
To see the abundance.
And studies have shown
Really?
that gratitude is linked to increased happiness,
Wow.
stronger relationships, even better health.
That's amazing.
Or it's worth a try.
It's like choosing to see the glass half full
Yeah,
instead of half empty.
exactly.
Focusing on the beauty that's already there.
That we often miss.
Okay, so gratitude, that's a good one.
Another important step is forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
Not just towards others,
Right.
but also towards yourself.
Oh yeah, self-forgiveness.
We tend to carry around a lot of guilt and shame.
It's true. We can be so hard on ourselves.
It weighs us down.
Yeah. And I remember that first source talked about how the ego is abusive
Yes.
towards us, just as it is towards others.
We judge ourselves so harshly.
It's like we set these impossible standards.
And then beat ourselves up when we don't meet them.
So that judgment creates a cycle of
But
negativity.
that can be really hard to break.
So how do I forgive myself for something I truly regret?
Well, remember, forgiveness isn't about condoning your actions.
Okay.
It's about recognizing you're human.
That we make mistakes.
Everyone makes mistakes.
It's about giving ourselves compassion,
Exactly.
accepting ourselves flaws and all.
And as you practice self-forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
you create space for growth and transformation.
and for a more loving relationship with yourself.
And that love extends outwards to others.
It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah, the more we forgive ourselves, the more compassionate we become.
Okay, so gratitude, forgiveness.
And then there's mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
That's cultivating awareness of your thoughts and feelings
In the present moment.
without judgment.
We've talked about mindfulness before.
Right.
Can you remind me what that actually looks like?
Sure, it's about noticing your sensations,
In my body.
your thoughts, your emotions,
Just observing them.
without getting carried away.
So it's not about emptying my mind
Not necessarily.
or achieving some blissful state
No, it's about being present,
with whatever's happening.
whether it's pleasant or unpleasant.
And as you practice mindfulness,
You start to see the patterns in your thinking.
the habits that lead to suffering.
You see how your thoughts create your reality.
And then I have a choice.
You can choose to engage with those thoughts.
Or let them go,
It's about becoming the observer of your mind.
not being controlled by it.
Right.
So mindfulness is a tool for breaking free from negative thought patterns.
It's a powerful tool.
And as I practice,
You cultivate a deeper sense of peace
a connection to something greater.
and a trust that everything is unfolding as it should.
So gratitude, forgiveness, mindfulness, these aren't just abstract concepts.
They're practical tools for transforming our lives.
They help us shift our perception
Release limiting beliefs.
and embrace a more loving way of being.
It's about recognizing our
The
interconnectedness
perfection that's always there.
and the limitless potential within each of us. It's amazing how these two sources,
I know.
one exploring the human experience,
And the other diving into spiritual teaching.
both point to this idea.
That we have the power to shape our reality.
Through our perceptions and choices,
It's like ancient wisdom meeting modern science.
it's a reminder that we're not just passive observers.
Yeah.
We're active participants, co-creators of our reality.
And that is incredibly empowering.
But it also comes with responsibility
To choose our thoughts wisely
to cultivate compassion
and to use our power for good.
for the highest good.
This has been such an incredible journey.
I agree.
I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
And remember, this is just the beginning.
The journey of self-discovery never ends.
Before we wrap up,
Yes.
if you enjoyed this deep dive into the quantum soul,
Hit that subscribe button.
give us a like and share this video.
Let's spread these ideas.
And if you're feeling inspired to keep exploring,
There are 2 videos on your screen.
click on the one that speaks to you.
And keep learning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
We look forward to exploring more with you soon.